This isn't that much of a surprise, sadly. There was a man named James Tubes who actually waited in a Denny's out there in California. He waited in a Denny's bathroom. Usually Denny's is like at a truck stop or something, so usually there's a lot of traffic. So I'm not really sure how he got away, but apparently he waited into a stall for a 10-year-old young lady to use the restroom, and then he jumped out and he sexually assaulted her. And I believe there was penetration. So I don't know how much time he actually had in there, but nevertheless, he got away. He was on the run for a while. I think they was trying to track him down. Apparently he did it like a couple of weeks before he turns 18. And then they wound up catching up to him years later. And now he's a career criminal, by the way. But now that he's arrested, now he's Hannah Tubes now. So now he's like part of the LGBTQ. So I guess even though he went out assaulting little girls or whatever the case may be, and then he was doing a bunch of other violent crimes, finally catch up to him. But, California has a very, very, soft on crime, especially depending on if you're in a minority group, especially if you're part of the LGBTQ group. The DA is a piece of crap. He's basically like, he doesn't normally charge people as adults if they committed a crime when they was a minor. Now, California is a very, very satanic place where they've been trying to legalize pedophilia forever. I mean, there was a U.S. Senate, Scott Weiner or something like that, maybe a year or two ago, who was, I think it actually passed. They passed some kind of bill where it's just for boys, not girls, not straight people, nothing else. But look it up, and I'll drop a link in the description box. But there's a guy, Scott Weiner, and he made it legal. He passed a bill that made it legal for 14-year-old boys to give consent as long as the person is no more than 10 or 11 years older than the child. So basically, it's legal. So a 21-year-old man could actually sleep with a 14-year-old boy out in California. This is something that's really going on. I mean, and it's all supposed to be pro-trans, pro-LGBTQ, real inclusive for minority oppressed groups and stuff like that. So this is how they pass their agendas. And if you speak out against it, then they want to destroy you. But are straight Christian conservative people, are we the bad guys who actually is preaching against all of this legalization of pedophilia? I would say absolutely not. I would say that. Now, here's the thing. I have all the sympathy in the world for people who is like falsely accused of certain stuff like this. But no, not this guy, James Tubes. Like, you literally have DNA traces and on camera, everything like that, undeniable, at a Denny's restaurant. No, people that's like caught red-handed like this, they should be doing like 30 years in a penitentiary. They should go straight to Gitmo. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're like falsely accused and it's questionable, okay, then you could go have a, trial, all of that good stuff. But for people like this, and now this guy walks around as a man all the time. He walked around a man his whole life, but he got arrested, and conveniently now he identified as Hannah Tubes. So now this dude is a so-called alleged woman.
Quite a disturbing story here. The man you see right there hid in a woman's restroom at a restaurant. Then when a young girl walked in by herself, he sexually assaulted her. Took years to capture him, but now that he's in custody, it appears he may serve little or no time. Gina Silva has been looking into this story. She joins us live tonight with more. Gina.
Well, Alex, this case has made law enforcement and some prosecutors furious. They are accusing DA George Gascon of caring more about that child molester than the victim. We have to warn you, the details are graphic and disturbing.
This is every parent's worst nightmare. This is every responsible citizen's worst nightmare that this would happen to our children.
LA County Deputy District Attorney John McKinney is talking about what happened to a 10-year-old girl when she walked into a Denny's restroom in Palmdale in 2014.
A man then entered the restaurant and went directly to the women's room And when the little girl came out of the stall, he immediately attacked her. He restrained her and he physically penetrated her in a sexual manner.
The little girl identified this man as her attacker, seen here entering the restaurant. But after the assault, the man fled. It wasn't until 2019 when a DNA hit revealed the identity of the suspect as James Tubbs. Turns out Tubbs had racked up a lengthy criminal record.
That included assaults with deadly weapons, several convictions, and many more arrests.
Despite his criminal past and the sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl, which Tubbs admitted to, he may end up serving very little time, if any at all. That's because while Tubbs is now 25, at the time of the assault, he was days from turning 18. And L.A. County District Attorney George Gascon has a policy of not charging anyone under 18 as an adult.
It's madness. It makes a mockery of our criminal justice system.
The public should be concerned because this is a heinous crime.
Lieutenant Richard Rees works with the L.A. County Sheriff's Special Victims Unit that investigated the Tubbs case. He says the entire department is outraged.
I would ask the public to reach out to Mr. Gascon and express their concerns and their outrage on a matter such as this involving a sexual predator.
We asked the L.A. County District Attorney's Office why this case wouldn't be transferred to adult court. That question was not answered. Instead, the following statement was issued. The defendant entered an open plea to the court, leaving it up to the judge to decide what the sentence should be. Our office is seeking that he be placed in a custodial setting in a sheriff's facility for 2 years.
The DA is trying to distance himself from this result and lay blame on the judge, when in fact this only happened because of his policy against transferring juvenile cases to adult court. 2 years is a pathetic outcome for a man who is a career criminal with felony convictions in multiple states and who committed forcible sexual assault on a 10-year-old girl in a Denny's bathroom.
Sentencing has been scheduled for Wednesday. Since this is a juvenile case, the judge has to sentence accordingly. If this were to be transferred to adult court, the minimum Tubbs would face would be 8 years in state prison. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
I mean, this is the reason why I was 100% against gay marriage being legalized, because it leads to so much more. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I guarantee you in a couple of years from now, I think it already is conversation about marrying animals. Because you could get a dog to consent. Doggy, if you consent, give me your paw. It's going to be bestiality is going to be legalized next. Like, we are living in, this is so satanic what's going on. I mean, you could thank Obama, y'all black king, for the start of this, because his name is President Obama, AKA the first gay president who was, didn't do anything for black people, right? Because this isn't the United States of black America. So I don't even know why people always talk about he didn't do nothing for black people. But he definitely did cater his presidency towards the LGBTQ. Now, I think the DA they're looking to recall this guy. But this is what happens because we vote these people in. We vote these stupid, corrupt, weak on crime politicians, weak on crime DAs. This is something that we need to change. We got to do better with our voting and actually vote people that's going to be a little more stronger, a little more tougher on crime. This guy, James Tubbs, is now being locked up in a woman's facility, but they're saying, oh, we're going to keep him in isolation. He won't be around any woman. But no, why do we live in this delusional world where we are allowing grown men who've been men their whole life to identify when it's convenient as women? Why do we do this? Okay, if I get locked up, yeah, I'm gonna identify as a woman too, because I'd rather be in prison with a bunch of women, especially if I'm gonna serve a good amount of time. I'm gonna just be like, hey, I identify as trans. This guy has changed his name to Hannah. How convenient, right? But if you look at this guy rap sheet, this guy mugshots, every time he would have been arrested, and he's been arrested multiple times throughout the years, is James. And it's just crazy. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, let me know what you think about this. I mean, do you see that California is completely out of touch with the world? And We need to stop allowing people to identify as whatever they want, because you don't really love these people. Like Bruce Jenner, he goes on major news networks and they're identifying him as a she, when in reality we all know is a he. We should not go along with people's delusions because it's very bad for them. The people that go along with the delusion of a male identifying as a woman, y'all don't really have no love for these people, because people that actually love you will tell you the truth and tell you that you need to seek help. And if you got a problem, you got to see a therapist or something, because even nowadays you can go to the hospital and identify as a female and you're a male, and then they got to treat you as a female. I mean, people are believing that men can get periods and men can have babies. I can't believe this is even a conversation. This LGBTQ crap is going way too far, especially when it comes to crime. And we all know that women typically get less time for the same crime males do. So how convenient is it to identify as a female if you get arrested? Because most likely they're going to go easier on a female anyway. This is just my thoughts, my opinions. I'm a black conservative man. I know some people don't agree with me, but you don't really love people if you're going to go along with their delusion and identify them as whatever they want to identify as. I mean, if you want to identify as a PlayStation 5, I'm not going to live in your delusional world and say, yeah, you're a PlayStation 5. It's this. Come on now. We got to wake up, people. Anyway, my name is Nate Savage. This Savage 5050. Like my video, share my video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think about what I said. All right, I'm out. Peace.